Penso que podemos ir começando. Mais uma vez, sejam bem-vindos a este webinar, hoje da Acrobat Pro, onde vamos ter aqui o Roger da Adobe a apresentar as novas features, como se integra com os aplicativos da Microsoft, as novas funcionalidades de assinaturas presentes na licença e como esta se compara ao Acrobat Sign. No fim vamos ter tempo também para um Q&A, sendo que podem ir colocando perguntas pelo chat durante a sessão, se o quiserem. O meu nome é Ricardo Monteiro, faço parte da TN SYNNEX, sou uma das pessoas que leva a Adobe aqui dentro. Aqui no fim deste slide tem o meu contacto, caso seja preciso enviar e-mail com alguma questão, sendo que após a sessão estar terminada enviaremos depois também a gravação da mesma. Roger, you can start. Thank you very much for your help presenting the new features in Acrobat Pro. So I will stop sharing and you can start.
I think I'm unmuted now.
Yep, yeah, we can hear you.
All right, cool. Let's see if I can get the sharing started as well. Can you just let me know when you see the screen here?
Okay.
Nothing showing?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Okay, now we can see it.
Yes, and you can see the presentation, right? Not the presenter view.
The presentation, yeah.
Yeah, all right, cool. Thank you so much. All right, so hi everyone. My name is Roger Mudiri. I work as a solution consultant here at Adobe, and my focus area is what we call Document Cloud. Document Cloud is a bundle of applications and services for digital documents, and the flagship product is Acrobat. Nowadays, Acrobat Sign has also taken a place there as a flagship product in the Document Cloud bundle. Today I will talk a little bit about the changes that have been made in Acrobat Pro. I will do a shorter click-through demo and a live demo as well. We will take a look at the difference between the signing functionality in Acrobat Sign and Acrobat Pro. And I'll also go through some examples and use cases where either Sign, Acrobat, or both could be suitable solutions. Yeah, so most companies have successfully navigated the last 2 years digitizing their critical business processes. And what has become clear is that while digitization is a critical part of digital transformation, these two initiatives are not the same. Digital transformation starts with digitization, but requires changes to culture, processes, and people to create better results, including better customer experiences. And this is where Adobe Document Cloud can help. Document Cloud for Enterprise is a digital document workflow solution that uses automation, authentication, and integrations to accelerate business purposes and improve employee and customer experiences while reducing cost and increasing security. Our industry-leading tools in both Acrobat and Sign ensure that all documents created in your organizations are automation ready, mobile optimized, accessible, secure, and compliant. And electronic signatures with Acrobat Sign can speed up everything from internal approvals to external contacts, while our partnership with Microsoft makes it possible to do a lot of these things directly in the Microsoft portfolio. And we also have APIs that can drive workflow automation and intelligence in other applications as well, besides the Microsoft world. We are one of the market leaders in digital documents, and you can read more about it in reports made by IDC and Forrester, and both show how Acrobat and Acrobat Sign excels when it comes to functionality, security, and return of investment. The list of existing customers is huge, and they can be found in all industries and sizes. I will not go through this today, but there are many success stories and use cases you can read about on our homepage. So, new features in Acrobat Pro for VIP. First of all, what is Acrobat Pro? Well, Acrobat Pro is the complete all-in-one PDF and e-signature solution that gives secure, effortless productivity and collaboration with unmatched integrations in everyday applications to move your business. And I'm sure a lot of you are already familiar with Acrobat, and you're more interested in what is new in Acrobat. So what is happening, or has happened already, is that we are adding new features to the Acrobat Pro offering in VIP. Simply put, new signing features has been added to new Acrobat customers. And these features are also being rolled out to existing customers, completing with the last rollout on November 7th. And after the 7th, all Acrobat Pro customers in VIP will have access to several functions and tools from Acrobat Sign. Customers who are on Creative Cloud All Apps on VIP also get the new Acrobat Pro functionality. There are some exceptions to this, and it is primarily for K-12 and FRL customers who will not have these features as of today. Yeah, so what are the new features? Simply put, customers with Acrobat Pro can now do a lot more when it comes to electronic signatures. Features and tools that you have been using or previously not been using maybe in Acrobat Sign for small business has now been built into Acrobat Pro. Here on this slide, you can see that the offering in Acrobat Pro is very similar to the offering in Acrobat Sign for Business, with a couple of exceptions. I will come back to this slide later in the presentation, and we'll take a closer look at where it differs from each other. But as mentioned, we have already started rolling out these new features, and it started in August. So there's a good chance that several of you and your administrators have received this pop-up telling you basically that their end users in the organization can now use several e-signing functionalities via Acrobat. And for some end users, you should also see that the new signature tools has been added in your toolbar. So if you go to the toolbar, you should be able to see that you can send in bulk, create web forms, request signatures and collect payments, and also do some branding on your signature. So how does it look? Let's do a quick click-through demo of how the signature feed will look in Acrobat. And in this demo, we have Tom Smith, who's the sender. He's going to log in to acrobat.com and access his Acrobat Pro account with e-signature via the web form. He enters his password. He goes into the web version of Acrobat, and from here, he has a new e-sign button on the top, and from here he can access the new tools and features that have been integrated from Acrobat Sign. He will choose request signature, and he will then add the necessary information that is required, such as a recipient. He can choose which type of role he wants to have for this recipient, and he can choose between signer, approver, and form filler, and he can also choose authentication method. By default, it's going to be just an email, but he can also add a second layer of password on top of it if he wants to. And then he's going to continue with adding a file, a document that needs to be signed. He chooses a local file. He opens up. He goes to the next tab. And this is where he can start populating the document with different fields. And he can either drag and drop or use an auto field detect button on the left side there. In this case, he's going to just drag and drop the fields that he wants to have in a document. It's a signature. He's going to add the full name. He's going to add a date. And he could now, if he wants to, save this as a template and reuse this. And also a new thing with the integration of Acrobat Sign into Acrobat is that It is multi-user support, which means that these templates can also be reached to or used by others in the organization, if that is configured, of course. You press send, you get a confirmation, and now we'll take a look at the recipient, in this case, Sam Carlson. And he receives a notification via email requesting him to review and sign. Press the button, review and sign. He sees the document, and he presses the start button, and he will be now guided through the document to fill out the information that is asked from him. He's going to add a signature. He's going to draw it, apply it, and the rest is out of field based on the information that the mail system has. And it's done. And if we go back to the sender's view, Tom can now go into his manage agreements from the web tool, and he can see all the agreements that have been sent for signature. You can see what is in progress. And you can also see that this agreement that it just now sent has been signed. He can also, if he wants to, download an audit report for the document, and it looks like this. It has the full transaction listed with timestamps and IP addresses. The IP address has been removed in this demo, but in normal cases, there will be an IP address also. And you can follow the entire flow here, from the creation of the document to being sent by email and the email being viewed and so on. So that was a quick click through. I'm gonna do two more that we have here. The request in bulk, if I can get it working. And request in bulk is basically sending a document to be signed by multiple people. This is now supported in Acrobat as well to up to 50 people. So sorry, bear with me here. This doesn't want to load for some reason. Just a sec here. I need to refresh the link. There we go. Sorry for that. So in this click-through demo, we will see how we request a signature in bulk using the Acrobat tool. And same thing here, we log into the web portal of Acrobat. We have the credentials that are needed. We do support SO as well, so it can be configured. And he's going to go, you can see here, he has access to all the different tools. He's going to press send in bulk, and he's going to add the recipients, up to 50 recipients. He's going to add a person in copy here. And he's going to add the file. I think he's going to use a local file in this case as well, but we do, of course, support cloud storage repositories. So you can connect this to SharePoint or use your document cloud. Goes to next. He's going to fill out, he's going to switch to the advanced editing, sorry. And then he's going to do similar to what we saw before. He's going to use drag and drop, or in this case, he's going to use the auto form field detection feature that we have. And he presses the button and it automatically adds the fields that it thinks that we need. Full transparency, this is not going to work every time. If you have a document with a lot of graphical elements, the machine learning is not going to understand. But as you see here, in this case, it's a pretty basic document and it's kind of easy to guess where the different fields are supposed to be. So in this case, it worked fine. Used the auto field detection feature and it filled out or added the fields that he wants. Then he goes next and he can review to manually check the recipients and who's in copy and the file and all those kind of things. And when he feels he's ready, he press send and done. Has now been sent in bulk. Another thing we have added from Acrobat Sign into Acrobat is the ability to create signable web forms. Also super easy to do. Same thing here, log in to the web portal, use your credentials, go to the web form tool. And here you have the option to add participants if you want to. In this case, it's going to be someone in copy. It's going to select a file. I think he's going to use a local file here as well. Yeah. Using a Word document is not an issue. Open it up. Go to next. And similarly, you can now fill out the add the fields that needs to be there. I think it's going to do the autofill one. Yeah. Create the web form. And now he has 2 links and can publish the web form. So he can collect signatures or information via the form. And in this case, he's going to preview it. And you can see that we have the preview version of the field, form field. All right. So I'm going to come back to the demoing in just a bit. Before that, we're going to take a look at the difference between Acrobat Pro and Acrobat Sign. So if we go back to the slide that I showed you before, we can take a closer look at how Adobe Sign and Acrobat Pro differs from each other. And the truth is that there already was some signing functionality in Acrobat, but previously it was what we called sign for individual. And as I mentioned, this the new improved sign in Acrobat is multi-user. And that basically means that the admin or whoever is managing your organization has a lot of options to configure and create user groups, also configure specific settings for specific groups, and yeah, gives a lot more options basically for the admins to configure the way that is best suited for your organization. And furthermore, the option to customize the signing. There we go. Furthermore, the option to customize the signing with your own logo and domain has been added. As shown in the demo, it is now also possible to use the web form tool that was previously exclusive to Acrobat Sign. The option to collect payment and use advanced field calculations, for example, create calculated fields in your document, is now also available in Acrobat Pro. And finally, also shown in the demo, we have the ability now to send in bulk. Though it is good to know that it's limited to 50 recipients compared to the 300 or even 3,000 that you can do in Acrobat Sign. Functions that are Sign standalone exclusive, there we go, are, for example, Workflow Designer, our automation tool that you can use to automate document flows. Furthermore, a big part of the standalone offering is around integrations. We have ready-made out-of-the-box integrations and a range of different systems. Currently, I think we have out-of-the-box integrations for over 80 different manufacturers. And if you want to integrate e-signing into other systems, you will need to look at the standalone product of Acrobat Sign. And the same applies if you want to access the Sign API to build your own solutions or integrations. Another big differentiator is certified-based signatures. So if you want more alternatives for authentications than those you saw in the demo, you need to look at the standalone version. So for example, if you want to use a certified-based signature on top of the already required email, you would need to look at the standalone products. Let's see, presentation is slow today. There we go. So let's take a look at some scenarios when the different products could fit. And here the customer wants to automate a document workflow for new additions. And here the information about new employees is to be retrieved from a SharePoint list that goes to HR for approval, then the CEO for the signer, and finally the new employee for signing. And when the new employee signs, the completed sign document goes back to SharePoint for archiving. And in this scenario, we have two roles. We have a signer, we have an approver. We use templates, and we use the SharePoint integration together with our workflow designer. And we can also choose to use Power Automate instead of the workflow designer if we want to, or the API to create this flow. And in this scenario, both integrations and workflow designer are being used, so you would be required to have Acrobat sign. In this next scenario, we have a customer who wants to be able to send documents with policy changes to a group with fewer than 50 recipients for signing. They need to use templates and they need to use the bulk send function. And in this scenario, the function, the bulk function, as you saw, is available in Acrobat Pro. So Acrobat Pro will probably be sufficient. In the last scenario here, someone must review and approve a workflow. The document must be shared for comments and feedback, and any last-minute changes must be made before it's sent for approval via e-signature. And finally, this must be archived in a document management system. And in this scenario, it may be appropriate to use both tools, Acrobat for sharing and reviewing the document, as well as last-minute changes, to then let Acrobat sign take care of the e-signing together with the archiving in the customer's document management system. Basically, what we need here is that we need commenting and sharing and PDF editing that are all Acrobat features. Then they also need the signature bit and integrations for external archiving and further processing with which is Acrobat sign standalone features. So in conclusion, in this scenario, they would require both solutions. Okay, let's go back to demoing, and this time I will do a live demo, and I will show you some of the standalone features that are exclusive to Adobe Sign. As I mentioned, one of these are the workflow designer. The workflow designer is an automation tool, so you can automate some of your document workflows. And it's very easy to use and doesn't require that you are super technical to do so. It's fully graphical. So I'm going to go in here. I'm going to show you, I'm going to create a new workflow here just to show you how it looks. And then we can take a look at a completed workflow. I press new and I give it a name. So it could be a new hire process. And we can make this workflow available for anyone in the organization, or we could have it for a selected group. In this new hire process, maybe it makes sense to have it for HR Sweden because it's the Swedish one, we can pretend. We can add some instructions for the sender. So please follow instructions in document, or if we know the flow, we can add the instructions here instead. In agreement info, we have the option here to set some configurations for the agreement, specific configurations for the agreement itself. So we could add a message that it goes out with the document that is being sent. We can change the recipient language. We can set password protections on the document. We can set completion deadlines. So if a document is not signed within a couple of days or whatever we set it to, it will be recalled. We can also just add someone in copy if we want to. It's a little bit configuration for in regards to the document. Then the recipient bit is where we actually design the automation flow. So in this case, maybe it's going to start with HR that will delegate the document, new hire document to the new hire. So we're going to add them as a delegator, which we did here, and then it's going to go to new hire. And at a parallel branch, we might want to have the CEO also signing this. So in this case, right now, as it is, I want to make them the sender as well. In this case, it's going to start with HR that delegates to the signer, new hire. At parallel, it will go to the CEO for parallel signing. And when both of them done, maybe it's going back to HR management or team lead or something like this for approving or accepting. And simple as that, we have created a automation flow. So whenever a new hire starts, they will just push the button and it will go to the people in the tree. And we have options here to set notification receivers. We have options to add a document that's going to be sent. It's not going to be required. Could be that we don't 100% sure which document we're using, but we know the workflow itself. So whoever is initiating is going to be required to add a document. And also set sender input fields. So we might not know exactly what the document will be, but we know what kind of sender inputs fields we want to have in the documents. We can do that as well. But let's cancel this and take a look at a workflow that I've previously created. This one perhaps. So before we go into the workflow, I will show you how the document itself looks. So in this workflow, it's a requisition form that needs to be filled out. I have pre-prepared a template on this document, and it looks like this. And yeah, so I prepared this document with different fields, some calculation fields, as you can see here, some drop-down menus, different signers for different scenarios. And if we go to the workflow and look at how that looks, you're going to see that we have all the steps here. It's a bit more complex workflow with an initiator, and then it goes to an approver in HOD department, then an approver in procurement, then needs to be authorized by finance. And when they have authorized it, it will go to CEO, CFO, CEO. And when all of them have signed, it will go to exec director and the head of treasury for final signing. And if I initiate this workflow, I'm going to be required to add those people. This one here. So me as an initiator, because I've configured it this way, I'm going to be required to add at least the initiator, approver, and the first approver and authorizer. Not going to be necessary to have the CEO in this case. And yeah, when I've configured and added those people, it's going to go and execute and start the workflow itself. An alternative could be that we have this as a web form instead. And as I mentioned, we do have web forms in Acrobat Pro as well. But if you want to fully utilize and build it into, say, integration stuff, then you would need to look at the standalone product. So for instance, I might want to use that form in a Teams environment. So I'm just going to open up. I have prepared this form beforehand. Here we have it. And we can see that it's live. I can open it up to check it out. Looks like this. Yeah, so we have the information. Now it's fields in that way. We can fill out the information when it's live. We have the drop downs here. And what I want to do basically is that I want to add this to our Teams group. So I'm going to take the URL here. I'm going to switch over to Teams. Let's see, I'm still logged in. Yeah. And very simply, due to the partnership we have with Microsoft, we can do a lot of things with Acrobat and Acrobat Sign. So I could now, if I want to, I could publish this web form in our Teams group. Very simply, like this form. We add the URL. And the form is now published in our Teams group. So anyone that has access to this team group can go in here and fill out the form. And yeah, now we can see that it's a live line form. We can add stuff to it. We can use the drop downs. And I've added some calculation fields as well. So if I do like 2 here and add 100, it's adding it up to a total, and it's having the total here as well. So like this, we can publish the web forms we have as well. You can create web forms as you saw in Acrobat, but to have the integrations with Microsoft Teams, you will require to have the standalone product. And with the integration with Acrobat Sign, and in this case, Microsoft Teams, what it means basically is that we have the Acrobat Sign tool built into Teams. So I have added this as an application here, and you can see that it looks and feels very similar to if I was using the main platform. From here, I can request signatures, I could send in bulk, I can manage my agreements, and basically do most things I would be able to do in the main platform, but instead I'm doing this directly from Microsoft Teams. Similarly, we have this kind of integrations built into to other Office applications, such as Word. So I'm just going to find a document here, show you how it looks. Let's take that one. And you can see here on top, we have functionality from Acrobat Sign, but also Acrobat built into Word. So I could send this document now or request a signature on it. I've probably been logged out. Let's see. Yeah. So just bear with me one second here. There we go. And you can see we can now send it as it is. You could do this from Outlook as well, or whatever Office application we want to. And if we want to do more advanced things, we can press the more option thing here. And what happens is that it opens up an instance of Acrobat Sign, but still within Word. So now we have more advanced options, and it looks and feels similar to if we were using the main platform. And as I mentioned, we also do have this kind of integrations together with Acrobat. So from here, we have an Acrobat menu, and we can do some of the Acrobat services, PDF services that we have directly in Word. Similarly, if we go to Teams, we're going to see that we have made available a lot of the Acrobat tools and features directly in Teams. So I've added the plugin here. And from here, I can access tools and services that are available in Acrobat. Of course, it's not going to be all the tools that you have in the desktop installation, but you can do a lot of things directly from here. So I can save some time, and yeah. And similarly, if you want to, with the API, both in Acrobat and Acrobat Sign, you have the option to build this kind of integrations with other systems as well. And as I mentioned, we do have pre-built native integrations with Acrobat Sign for over 80 solutions today. So there's a big chance if you're using a solution that is one of the bigger ones, there's a good chance that we also have a pre-built integration for it. But otherwise, as I mentioned, with the help of the API, you can do a lot of these things and create your own integrations based on your own needs. Okie dokie. So that was a brief look at the new features and new tools in Acrobat and Acrobat Sign. So I'm going to open it up for questions if there are any, or if there's anything specific you would like to see.
Thank you, Roger. Thank you very much for your presentation. There was a question in the chat, but I have already answered. So if anyone wants to ask any question, please do. I will unmute you all, so you can, if you want, you can ask it by speaking instead of writing.
Yeah, I can just go through the question that was asked there as well. The question was that if it's required to have an Acrobat Pro or Acrobat Sign license to sign. No, that is not required. We can set it not in Acrobat Pro, but with the standalone product, we can set it as a requirement that the recipient needs to have Adobe Sign or Acrobat Sign here, but by default, it's not going to be a requirement. Anyone can sign, they just need an internet connection. There's also the option to do offline signing if you for some reason need to go and physically see the person, but by default it's going to only be required to have an email and an internet connection.
Okay. Thank you, Roger. I don't think we have any more questions. I think your presentation was pretty clear, so no doubts.
Good to hear.
Okay.
Yeah.